What's up, campers? It's been a while. Uncle Mark is back. I took the last 3 or so months off to myself. Uh, I was starting to slip a little bit in my own recovery. I've been focused so much on the podcast and trying to get that up and running and trying to gain followers and gain traction that I got lost in what I was doing it for. I started to be more concerned about whether or not I was getting views than actually putting out good content. So I took it upon myself to regain control of my life. And so I took 3 months off. Tried to film a couple episodes while I was on the road driving, but it just wasn't the same. It wasn't at home. It wasn't in my beautiful uh, blue collar studio. So today is the official return of Uncle Mark. And it's a good day today. I went to an AA meeting today. I haven't been to an AA meeting in a couple months, and that's been kind of the nature of my recovery. AA was a huge portion of my recovery in the beginning, and then due to some things that I, went on with AA, I kind of just separated myself for a little bit, and I went to a little meeting in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. There was 4 people there, me included. And I'm not gonna lie, I walked in there, I was like, well, why am I here? There's only 4 people here. But then I sat down, and like every other AA meeting I've ever been to, you start to listen and you start to hear some things, and you start to, relate to some of the things, and then it becomes a productive meeting, as they all are. I met a couple nice people and had a good conversation about gratitude. So this one's going to be short today, folks. I have to go to bed because I have to be up at 11 to go to work, get in the truck, and go run down to Calvert, Alabama, kids. 987 miles, I think, one way. So let's talk about it for a second. Gratitude ties in really well with what I've been going through in my own mind. Worrying about viewers and worrying about merch and worried about this and what the next step. Do I need this? Do I need that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I hire somebody to do this? And, I lost track of the fact that the reason why I do the Steel City Roundtable is not because of viewers or followers. It is because I am grateful to be sober. I am grateful to be alive, and I'm grateful to be able to try and help other people. There it is right there. Share, help, repeat, right? But I forgot the basis of it. I forgot that the whole goal of this was to tell about the things that I've learned and the things that I've experienced in order to try and help other people. And once you get tied up in that social media nexus, where all you're worried about is views and messages and responses and gaining followers, you lose track of everything important. And I think as people in recovery, we tend, when we slide, when we start to have issues, a lot of times it's because we forget to just stop and be thankful and be happy with the life that we have now. I can go back to, the 2000s, the 1990s, the 80s, and talk about all the fun I had and all the good times I had and all the really cool things I got to do. But throughout those decades, there was one thing that was common. There was one thing that was a common denominator in all that. And that was that I was never thankful for a damn thing. I took everything for granted. Paychecks were to spend, cars were to drive and wreck, women were to date, do whatever, and, just keep on plugging away at your day, never really being grateful of the people that were in my life and the experiences that I had and the ability to do the things that I had the ability to do. And it took me getting sober to realize that we are not on a never-ending clock. It is finite, kids. We are only here for a short period of time. And, I already gave up 49 years of my life to alcohol. Well, technically take away, 17, do the math. What's that? 31 years, 32 years. Not the smartest guy, kids. But 32 years of my life I gave away to alcohol. And, since I got sober, it's been trying to retake my life back and retake the ability to choose and to do things that make me feel good and make me happy, and, not always be selfish and do everything to, satisfy my reptile brain, eat, sleep, fuck, repeat. That's no way to live. And unfortunately, in those 32 years, everything was disposable. Everything was replaceable. Friends, relationships, cars, jobs, apartments, everything could be replaced. And, as time has gone on, especially in the last 3 years, I'm learning that nothing is replaceable. Nothing that matters can be replaced. If a loved one dies, you don't replace them. You learn to live with that loss. If a pet dies, you don't replace them. You may get another one, but it doesn't replace that time and that connection and that experience you had. Same thing with jobs. You don't replace a job. You just go to a different job, but they're all different. And I know it sounds kind of corny, but, life is about the moments. It's about the little things. It's about, being able to spend a Sunday with my wife and, being able to have her help me do projects around the house and me helping her around the house. And, the little moments where we just sit on a couch and, she lays on my chest and we watch a movie, or, I rub her back every night as she goes to bed. It's the little things that make it worthwhile to live. And once we forget, and once we feel like we could replace all those things, I think we put ourselves in a very dangerous situation as people in recovery to slip and slide and go back into relapse and go back out again. And, it took these last 3 months of me just kind of working and doing shit around the house to realize that this is a gift. This is a gift. I could have easily been dead, but I was spared and I was saved in a to use the term, and I was given another chance to be selfless and not selfish. And I think sometimes it takes us going through a harder time to really think about what matters in life. And kids, what matters is family, friends, relationships. Is it nice to have a house? Yes. Is it nice to have a nice house? Yes. Is it nice to have nice cars? Yes. Those are the things that you can replace. Physical things. You can replace a car. You can replace a house. But you can't replace a home. You can't replace the memories. You can't replace the times and the experiences and the fun and the ups and the downs that you've had within that physical structure. But that physical structure is the house. The home is what you build in your relationships with your significant other, with your kids, with your family. And I think through being so tied into addiction for so long, my default setting is still to think that if something goes bad, I can just replace it. And, good, bad, and different. If this podcast sails, it sails. If it fails, it fails. Because, to me, it's never going to be a failure. I'm always going to get to talk to you guys, and I'm always going to get to tell you what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And hopefully something I say can help you in some way, shape, or form. That ultimately is the goal. Once again, you can always reach out to me. steelcityroundtable@gmail.com. mdkneebone@gmail.com is my personal email. My phone number is 724-759-8600. If you're in the Western Pennsylvania area, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, definitely reach out to me. I'm getting back into AA a little more now, so, maybe we'll catch a meeting. But like I said, guys, this is going to be real short today. I got to ease back into this thing. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today because I'm just kind of sitting here enjoying life right now, and I find that usually I have more to talk about when things are rough, and right now things are great. And I just want to let you guys know, as always, we're not in this alone. Recovery is a full contact sport, and we need to reach out and we need to remember where we come from and where we want to go, and take advantage of every little minute that you have, because we never know what's going to happen. Everybody says it. We could be gone tomorrow. And I finally, for the first time in my life, know that I don't want to leave this world wondering what if. I want to leave this world remembering what was. So keep that in the back of your mind, guys. I love you all so much. Please welcome me back into your homes. I would love to start talking to you guys again. Reach out to me. The website, I've been working on that forever and just been delaying that, but that should be out by the end of July. That's going to be steelcityroundtablepodcast.com. Please reach out to me. Please tell me what you're thinking. Give me ideas for things to talk about. And if you want to be a guest, all you got to do is call me or email me, and we'll get you on here. And listen, I don't care if you're an alcoholic, if you're a sex addict, a gambling addict, you're schizophrenic. I don't care what your issue is. I don't care what your demons are. I just want you to talk about it, because at the end of the day, if you talk about it, you're working in the right direction. And that's the direction towards healing and being able to help yourself and help others. So, hey, just remember, guys, share, help, repeat. That's what it's all about. I love you. Next week will be a full episode. I can't wait. So reach out to me. Till next time.